All right, welcome back, guys. If you saw my last video, I talked about Nabla Cosmetics, what I thought about the products from their range that I've tried, which was a lot of things. It was a long video, and I said what I'm going to do is do my top picks and my bottom picks from the range, and I decided to do it as a new video because that was way too long. So on to my favorite products from the Nabla range that I feel like I can confidently sort of recommend to people and I hope that they will love. So the first pick should be no surprise if you've been watching my videos because I also talked about these in my favorites. The Dreamy Creamy liquid lipsticks are fantastic. If you're looking for a beautiful opaque liquid lipstick that originally has like a glossy finish but maybe fades down to more of that cream finish but is super pigmented and lasts really, really well, I think you will love these. I really want to see more shades. I want to see sort of like lighter nudes. I want to see brighter colors. I think these are fantastic. And the reason why this was my first pick is because I've been reaching for these over most other lipsticks. When it comes to liquid lipsticks that I have in my range, these are just as good, if not better. So if these stand out in my makeup collection, they're fantastic. The next thing I want to mention is actually their liner. So this is their liquid liner, the cereal liner. I think this is a fantastic liner. I think it is super opaque, super easy to apply. The brush tip applicator applies the product really nicely, really precisely. Again, you can sort of like do really fine work, really fine work because the tip is so precise and so beautiful. Okay, I've only been using this for a few weeks now, but there's been no issues with like patchiness, or sometimes liquid liners, you use them and you'll apply them and they sort of look good on one eye and then sort of dry out on the other eye. That doesn't happen with these or this one. It's, yeah, really opaque, really beautiful. It doesn't bleed on me. It just looks beautiful all day. I think this is a really good liquid liner. Liquid liners aren't my favorite type of liner because I often find them, like you have to be very precise with them, and if you mess it up, it can look like crap. But this is a liquid liner that I've been reaching for if I'm reaching for a liquid liner. So again, if this stands out in my collection, it's a good liner. The next top product that I love from their range are actually their brushes. I think their brushes are really beautiful and they do stand out in my collection as being brushes that I want to reach for. I think they have some really nice designs. I think they have some semi-unique shapes, in my opinion anyway, and the quality is really beautiful. So for example, the big powder brush is just really nice and soft. It's quite versatile. You can do a lot of things with it. My favorite brush for sure is the cheek shaper. You know, you can really get in there to do a precise contour, but then you can also blend it out. It almost like it applies bronzer by itself. You can also do that with blush. It's just a really beautiful sort of tapered cheek brush. I really like how small this highlighter brush is, so you can really get in there and precisely highlight your cheeks. I think their brush quality is really lovely, and yeah, I've been reaching for them like above my other brushes that I currently have, so you know, that's a good sign. The fourth item I want to talk about, and this is not really in like order, all these products are top 5. I wanted to talk about their highlighters. So these are the Skin Glazing Glass Finish Glow Powders. They are gorgeous. So these, if you like, look, they've got such great colors. You can use them as blushes, you can use them as highlighters, you can use them as whatever you want. They've got nice different undertones. Yeah, I really dig them. I think they're beautiful highlighters that can give you that really beautiful intense effect if that's what you're after. So it's quite an intense highlighter, but if you want to blend it out, you can get more of a glass finish effect. And I don't think they're too poor emphasizing for what they are. I've got so many other highlighters that emphasize pores way more than this, but I also love that they have deep tones for different skin types. But if you do want to collect them all, I like to use these as blushes or eyeshadows. So yeah, they've got a beautiful range of 6, and the formula is really beautiful and versatile. So build it up, sheer it out, use it as a blush, use it as an eyeshadow. These are really great. All right, in the number 5 spot, I was tossing up between 2 items. So I wanted to give an honorable mention to the Cult Matte soft touch lipsticks, which is what I'm wearing today. I love the colors of these. The formula, like I said in my last video, is a little bit sort of moussey, and you have to sort of, a little bit dry, so you have to sort of like buff them in to get a nice even finish. Otherwise they can look a little bit chunky on the inner rim, which is the only reason I've knocked these out of the top 5. But this is definitely like my 6th position because the lipstick shades are so gorgeous. The shade I'm wearing is Backbeat. I love it. I wear them all the time. So I do really love these, but I think I love them for the sort of look that they give and the colors more than I love them for the formula, if that makes sense. So I had to sadly take these out of the top 5, but it was a hard maneuver. And instead I'm putting in their eyeshadows. So their eyeshadow palettes, I can't really pick a favorite. The one that I use the most is the Nude one because I am basic, but I really, really, really love those shimmery shades on these ones here, these moussey shimmery shades. They're so gorgeous and they give an effect on the eye that rivals Pat McGrath and like Natasha Denona, their sort of special formulas. This formula rivals it. It's gorgeous. My next most used palette is probably the Secret palette because it's got a nice variety of sort of nudes and colors in there, and I can make some really nice basic shades or pop in a bit of teal to add some vibrancy. The colors are really beautiful. The mattes are really beautiful. I particularly like their eyeshadows because the quality is pretty good across the board, but they do have like a lot of different textures. Like this is the Dreamy 2 palette, and oh my god, the amount of like gorgeous glittery textures and just metallic beautifulness that they have in this. I really, really value how much effort they've put into giving the consumer a variety of textures, because a lot of brands don't do that. They should do that because it's important, but a lot of brands neglect that and they just go, here's a shimmer and here's a matte. But here they're like, here's these gorgeous like shimmery topper things that like do amazing things. And in most palettes there's, you know, multiple duochromes. In this one, which is what I'm wearing today, they've got beautiful, beautiful duochromes. You can see, look, it's kind of like blue, it goes purple. They really value different effects, which I love. So if you were interested in trying a Nabla eyeshadow palette, I just say pick the color story that you vibe with the most and you think you'll wear the most, because the quality is nice. You're not going to be disappointed. Like, it's not hard to use. So they're not like the best eyeshadows I've ever used in my life by any means, but at the same time, they're across the board. They're really, really nice, and I love the variety of texture. All right, next are the bottom few products from the range, in my opinion, and these aren't necessarily bad products. They're just products that don't really vibe with me, and I don't really sort of, I don't really need them in my life, if that makes sense. So the first one is the Dreamy Matte Liquid Lipsticks. Now, these are fine liquid lipsticks. They settle matte. They just feel a little bit heavy on the lips, and I feel like after a while you sort of want to, I find anyway, that I sort of want to remove them. And that's a sign for me that a liquid lipstick isn't something that I enjoy wearing. If they feel too heavy and they start feeling a little bit chunky on the lips after a while, so much so that like after lunch I just want to wipe them off. I don't love them, but it doesn't mean they're bad. It just means for me, I just don't dig them. So I'm not a huge fan of their matte liquid lipsticks, but their creamy ones are gorgeous. Next is the Glimmer Light palette. So this is the multi-reflective illuminating palette. So it looks really gorgeous. It's got 3 powder products in here. They are all very, very sparkly. And I just don't really know what to do with them. So you could use them as eyeshadows. I prefer their eyeshadow formula. If you use these as a blush or a blush topper, it deposits some color and then like chunks of glitter. If you use it as a highlighter, again, this is the only one I could really use as a highlighter. And again, it's very, very, very glittery. And these, I don't know what to do with them. So I don't hate them. I just, like, I don't hate the product. It's just something that I can't work into my daily routine, so I don't really understand them, if that makes sense. All right, the last thing that if I had to pick another product, because I feel like 3 sounds good, that I didn't love, I'm going to say it's actually the concealer. And it's not that I don't like the concealer. Like I said, when I was going through all the products, I think these are nice face concealers for me. They blend really nicely. They give a nice amount of coverage, but under the eye, I think they're a little bit tricky. So I find that they can start to settle into lines if you don't set them straight away. And then with certain powders, they can look a little bit patchy. Sometimes they sort of it doesn't blend perfectly. And probably the biggest kicker for me is the fact that they smell strongly of coconut, and I hate the smell of coconut. It does diffuse, but it's something that I don't enjoy using. And so I will keep using these, but I mainly use them for the face because I think they blend nicer on the face area than it does under the eye. But I mainly reach for concealer to use under my eye. So I don't hate them. They're not the worst products in the world. They're definitely not the worst concealers I've ever used, but there are things about them that I don't love. An honorable mention for products that I think are not the best. I like the product in this. So this is the setting powder, the baking and setting powder. I think it's a really nice setting powder. It's just very hard to take out of the packaging. So the packaging holes are really, really small. So it's very hard to take the product out. And when I do want to set my base and set my under eyes, I use quite a lot of powder. I'm an oily skin girl, and I find that I'm spending a few minutes trying to shake this out and tap it out, which I find frustrating every day. So the product itself is a nice setting powder. The packaging is a little bit frustrating. So even though I mentioned those products as my least favorites, in the scheme of things, they're not bad products. So, you know, if you love a matte liquid lipstick and you find that your lips don't get like dry, or you don't feel like they feel chunky on the lips, I'm sure you'll love these Dreamy matte liquid lipsticks. If you love glittery blushes or glittery highlighters, I'm sure you'll love that palette of the 3 powders that are really, really glittery. So again, these products aren't bad. They're just products that for some reason don't vibe with me. When it comes to the top products that I mentioned at the start, they're the ones that I think stand out from my collection as being sort of standout products. So they're products that I will reach for as frequently or over other products that I own, which says a lot because I own a lot of products. And then the rest of the products that I discussed in the last video, they're all products that I think are on par with things that I own in my collection. So for example, the brow pomade, I would reach for this as equally as I would something like the Benefit Ka-Brow. I love the Benefit Ka-Brow. I really enjoy this. So it doesn't win me over the Ka-Brow, but at the same time, I'm more than happy to reach for this or the Ka-Brow. So yeah, everything else I discussed, I think they're on par with what I own, but the things that I mentioned as being my favorites are the things that stand out, and the things that I mentioned as being my least favorite are things that I would probably reach for things from my collection over them, if that makes sense, but they're not by any means a bad release. So that's been a long journey of me trying a lot of Nabla products and having boxes of Nabla stuff out on my desk, like products that I need to use, products that I know how I feel about them, packaging, da 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 da. So, you know, I've had them out for a long time. I've been trying them for the longest time. And I think I can confidently say that overall they're a very, very strong brand. I don't think there's anything in here that's particularly bad. It just comes down to like personal preference. So for example, if you have dry skin, I probably wouldn't say use the matte foundation or the matte liquid lipstick, but otherwise I think the products overall are very, very good. I've enjoyed using them all. And I'm very thankful to Nabla for sending them out to me. So thank you so much. So let me know in the comments if you've tried Nabla products, what your favorite products are, or what like piques your interest the most. So if you are interested in checking out Nabla, I do think they're a brand to watch out for. So I will link a few places you can buy them down below. They are based in Italy. So I think, you know, it's sort of, there are a lot of websites that you can get a limited range from, but their website is where everything is stocked. And if you did want to check out me going through every single product that I've tried, their foundations, their powders, their concealers, their brow products and everything, and telling you what I think about them, there is that video. It's super long. Apologies. It is what it is. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.